LeBron James is going to be 38 years old heading into his, 19th, 20th season. I think LeBron is the GOAT, but he hasn't done himself any favors at all this year. He tweets out, he wants to win more titles, but in the same breath in his exit interview, he says things like, this season wasn't really a failure, which, this is the kind of stuff that people don't really like about LeBron James. Kobe fans, Jordan fans, they know that those two guys, they wouldn't say something like this. After a loss, I knew Kobe was probably more upset about it than I was. And it gives fans a certain calmness knowing your star player is upset, and they'll probably be ready for the next game or even the next year, whatever the case may be. LeBron is super passive aggressive, and for all of his accomplishments, I think LeBron at this point in his career, he's just very comfortable because he's everything that people said that he couldn't do in his career, he's proven them wrong. I don't really have a problem with that. They said that he couldn't win a title, he did it. They said that he couldn't bring a title to Cleveland, and he did that. And he did all this in the East, where it's a weak conference, the least conference. He couldn't come to the Western Conference and do everything that he accomplished in the East. He came to the Lakers, where titles means everything, and he won when people didn't think he really wanted to. They thought he was just going to come out here and start the second half of his career, which is like movies, endorsements, stuff like that. And he did win a title. He's going to be 38. And I think going forward, he really only has two goals at this point. He wants to win the scoring title, and he wants to play with Bronny. He doesn't like playing with younger guys. He's never in his whole career, he's never liked playing with younger players. In a way, you can kind of say he stunts their growth because, they're supposed to be learning. That first year is like them learning, them growing. And then when you bring in LeBron, expectations change. And sometimes you're even a scapegoat, right? So if he doesn't want to commit beyond past this year, I think you just let him walk after this season anyway. If I'm the Lakers, I let him play out this year and let him play out for that scoring title. Not saying you need to package him and AD to trade or anything like that. You let him honor his last year in LA, and then you move AD. I think you move AD this offseason. I've been on record saying that multiple times. I think you move AD this season, especially if LeBron doesn't commit. If LeBron doesn't commit this summer, I don't think you're really tied to Anthony Davis anymore at this point. And you could package him and Westbrook. You can package all those guys and get from out under their contracts, maybe get some younger players and help rebuild this roster. So let's just go ahead and segue into a team that is doing everything the right way. And you don't see them freaking out when they're having a bad year, anything like that. They stick to what they know, and that's the Boston Celtics. It makes me want to throw up watching this year's playoffs because they're really talented. Right now, I believe the Boston Celtics are the best team in the NBA and could definitely go to the finals if they manage to hold off the Nets. They're up 3-0, so there's really no reason why they shouldn't. Also, they're a better ran team than the Lakers right now. So what are the Lakers right now? They're old. They get hurt. The front office always is chiming in. They want a coach that they control, kind of like how Dallas are, the Dallas Cowboys in the NFL. You got Jerry Jones out there really pulling all the strings. And right now, the Lakers seem like they're kind of out of touch with today's NBA. So that's the Lakers. That's what the Lakers are. Old, injury prone. Front office is a little weird. And then you got LeBron, who's non-committal. And then you got Anthony Davis, who's always hurt. Who's supposed to be your first best player. He's always hurt. And then it's just a roster full of old guys and guys that can't shoot. What's Boston right now? Young, stable, up 3 games against the 2 best players in the NBA, often considered the most skilled duo of all time. Again, if you're listening to this and you're a Laker fan and you want to throw up after what you just heard, go ahead. But the truth hurts. And right now, Boston has a great young core. They want to play together. They're not out here being passive aggressive during interviews. They started 21-23 at the beginning of the year. They don't have to worry about being traded before the NBA deadline, the NBA trade deadline when things aren't going their way. This team was 21-23 at the start of the season, and they finished with the number 1 seed. Okay, you have to read the tea leaves here. And what that says about your team, if your team starts off at the bottom of the conference at the beginning of the year and you fight and crawl your way out, you can put that on a lot of good things. Coaching, front office isn't, having meetings with the coach every other day about what's going on. They're not causing extra drama, and the players are just bought in. They're brought into the system. They love their coach. He knows what he's doing. He's clearly making an impact on this team, right? Boston will probably win another title before the Lakers do within the next 5 years, because by that time, LeBron will be gone, AD will be gone, the Lakers will have 0 draft picks, and we'll just be stuck with a bunch of guys in the NBA G League, and that's just where we are as a Laker team right now. So kudos to the Boston Celtics. I love watching. I will watch a middle school basketball game. I love basketball. So even though the Boston Celtics are a rival, I enjoy watching them play because they play basketball the right way. And I also think it's really good that the Nets aren't winning, because they're like the last team that had like this really insane big three. And I think the NBA needs to get away from this big three era. So it's really good that you've seen teams like last year, you've seen Giannis win for Milwaukee, right? This year, I don't think you're going to see a big three, really. There's no big three left in the NBA right now. So kudos to Boston.